Back in the 1960s and early 70s, Ducati built a series of really funky single-cylinder bikes, 250cc, 350cc and 450cc. As was often the case with European manufacturers back then, they pandered to the American market, and Ducati built the 450cc Scrambler. While the off-road ability was questionable, the style and the street cred was absolutely spot on, and the Ducati Scrambler was a big hit in the US. But then in 1974, Ducati dropped production of the single-cylinder bikes, and from that point on, it was only the rumble of a V-twin that was heard at the factory in the Borgo Panigale in Bologna. Nowadays, manufacturers all over the world dip into the large pot labelled nostalgia for inspiration. Sometimes just a name is resurrected, but other times the style and essence is copied wholesale. And that brings us very neatly to the brand new Ducati Scrambler. At first glance, it's merely a marketing exercise. Resurrect a bike from the past and trade on its fame. It looks like the original, very much so, but in the engine bay nestles a V-twin motor. An air-cooled V-twin motor, but a V-twin motor all the same. Now, V-twin motors might be all the rage in adventure bikes, but when was the last time you saw one in a Scrambler? Or MX bike, or Enduro bike, whatever they're called these days. And there are no frills either. Single Brembo disc up front, single clock, simple controls, simple chassis and suspension. Just get on and ride the thing. So let's be brutally honest about this. This bike, it's a marketing exercise, isn't it? But does that mean it's no good on the road? Are you kidding me? This is one of the best urban or city bikes that I've ever come across. It's just fantastic fun. You've got 800cc, you've got about 75 brake horsepower and 186 kilograms. A really snappy, short ratio gearbox. It just wants to lift its front wheel at every opportunity. It's absolutely fabulous. And it's tiny as well. Bikes just don't come this small anymore, and I don't know why not, because you don't need anything bigger in a city. This is just fabulous fun. I love it to bits. You want practicality and fun in one package? Well, then this is the bike for you. And then there's the price. When did you last see a Ducati that was on sale, brand new, for 117,000 rand? It just doesn't happen, until now. But, and there's always a but, the name, Ducati Scrambler. If this thing has any ability off-road whatsoever, I'll eat this helmet that I'm wearing.
They call this bike a Scrambler. Now, that would have been fine in the 60s, but nowadays, is it such a good idea to call it a Scrambler? That's why we've come here to Chimes, where you need only the most powerful, agile, and capable off-road bikes. But how do you think our little Scrambler will cut it? That's why we've brought our good friend Grant Ferris to have a little look-see. Right, Grant, you've had a go on the Scrambler. Let's be honest, after getting your off-road bike, it must have been a bit weird.
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest thing to adjust to. I mean, the whole positioning of it, it's very cafe racer-like. So it's not really what I'm used to, but I mean, I adapted to it really quickly. And
yeah. Let's be honest, the first time you rode it, you thought, holy cow, what is this thing?
Yeah, I pulled away just behind us in the soft sand, and I thought, there's no ways I'm going to ride anything vastly technical with this
Yeah,
bike
yeah,
today.
yeah.
And yeah, I got into it quite quickly, and
Yeah.
like I said, I got used to the bike, got used to the positioning and how the power delivers onto the back wheel, which is, it's quite a kick. So with these road tires, not the easiest thing to ride in soft sand, but yeah, the bike was more than capable of doing the things that we did today.
Because let's be honest, I mean, we kind of expected you to do a little bit of sideways and a little bit of a bunny hop here,
Yeah.
but holy cow, let's be honest, you did more than I'd do on your motocross bike.
Yeah. When you arrived earlier today, I thought, no, we're going to have to find some hardback dirt roads. You know, we're out at Chimes, and I don't really know where we're going to take this bike. And then you said to me, no, we're going to go to the dune, and I thought, oh, yes, here we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, first impression was the same thing as I climbed the bike. Like I said, the body positioning and all that, it's not what I'm used to. But yeah, as I got more comfortable, I mean, I started doing more with the bike, and there wasn't really one moment when I thought, okay, there was one or two. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a very scary experience for me. It was quite enjoyable, actually.
Okay, but let's be honest, it's tiny, this bike. I mean, it's really small. People, I mean, I'm sure on camera it doesn't look as small. And if you want something bigger, let's be honest, it wouldn't have ended as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the first bike I've pretty much ever ridden that sat flat foot on both sides. So it's really, really small, like you say.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was one section down there where I was drifting and the back wheel caught some traction and I almost high-sided. And like you pointed out to me, if I was on anything bigger, I probably would have landed on my head. So that is a plus for the bike, especially when you're riding something a little bit more technical.
Yeah. And let's be honest, that back tire, I mean, especially made by Pirelli for this bike. We didn't think it was going to work, but when you rode up a sand dune, I mean, come on.
Like if you look at the tire, it looks like a slick that someone's taken a tire cutter to, you know, like what we used to race motard with. And yeah, like you said, I rode up the sand dune, and yeah, I mean, you had to give it horns to make it up, but it was capable of it, eh?
Okay, this thing is mostly made for, come on, riding around in the streets. It's not made for that much off-road. Ducati keeps telling us it's only made for light off-road. But do you think it's earned the name Scrambler?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no one really calls a motocross bike a scrambler anymore. So I think this is the new era of scrambling, and I can see myself cruising on the road or with one of these, riding over the pavement, riding dirt roads, taking on an occasional breakfast run off-road, you know, with the guys with the adventure bikes. It's very capable of doing all those things.
Well, there we go. I couldn't have summed it up better. The Ducati Scrambler, an actual scrambler.